Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds in the third part of this three-part series.
We're going over cards that best exemplify Timmy players.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We got daily Commander content. Happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is today. And every single day, it's somebody's birthday because we got a new video.
Yes, we put out daily content. The best way to support that daily content would be to go to patreon.com using this little link that's here. I can't really reach for it because that's not how it works. But you see it, and you can go to that link. That's the best way. Support us directly, and we would appreciate it very much.
Yeah, and the next money you were going to spend on, let's say, a pyramid scheme, you could instead put towards TCG Player and Dragon Shield. Affiliate links in the description. You can buy the best sleeves in the entire multiverse. Good sleeves.
Good sleeves, yes. And for TCG Player, that's an affiliate link, which takes you to buy Magic cards. You spend the money that you were on cards you were going to buy anyway, get them for the same exact price, except we get a kickback. You're supporting us while supporting your addiction.
No, that's actually false. They're spending money on cards that they would have spent on pyramid schemes. That's what I just said.
Oh, I forgot about the pyramid
We're
schemes.
really helping you out. Don't spend money on pyramid schemes. Help them at Picking Nerds.
Yes, so let's get into this video. This is the third and final part of our little series. We did Spikes, we did Johnny's, and now we're doing Timmy's. It's a character profile, or a player profile rather, not a character. And I'll read you that player profile right now. A Timmy, or Tammy, is characterized by their tendency to use big creatures and cast big spells. Large, exciting plays motivate them. Timmies are most associated with playing for fun and all kinds of huge creatures, fantastic spells, and mythical enchantments. They are the most social archetype, enjoying the interaction that magic provides. A stereotypical Timmy or Tammy is usually a younger player with a simple yet fun for them deck. They do not care whether they win or lose, but want to have fun playing really big effects.
They're slinging gigantic spells. They're affecting the board state in a major way. They're getting to do something with their hands or move around and affect things, and it's going to be a big impact, and it's a lot of like haymakers and giant effects that just warp the whole game or destroy everything. Like, Timmies love going big.
Yeah, the average CMC of a Timmy spell versus a Johnny spell. A Johnny spell is like, 3. Two or three, Timmy spell is like 8.
6.
6, 7, 8, 9. They're really, really big. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about some commanders that really encapsulate the Timmy feel. The first one, Maelstrom Wander. It's a 7/5, 7/6. It doesn't matter.
7/5.
It's a 7/5. I was right the first time. And it has Cascade, but it costs 8 mana, meaning you can Cascade into 2 7-drops. When you're a Timmy, that's how you build your deck. You have a ton of 7-drops. All you want to do is have that Maelstrom Wanderer Cascade into just big, giant creatures, get 3 huge creatures out of it, and swing in because they have haste.
So your commander is alluring because it's a big play. It's a splashy play, but it also represents 2 more potentially big splashy plays that you don't even know what it is. So I'm like, as a Timmy, you'd be very drawn to, I get 1 big thing, but I could get 3 big things and I don't even know what they are. They could be the best. It could even be a boat. Like, literally, that's what it is.
There's so much. This is such a fun thing to do because I remember playing Maelstrom Wander. There are times you do it, it's Mana Dork and it's Signet. It's like, what? Oh man, that was weak. And then there's other times it's like
Inferno Titan clone. It's like,
it's like, okay, well, that's completely and utterly bonkers.
Definitely awesome. The next one here is Zakama Primal Calamity. This is a giant spell, but the thing that this does is just refund you the entire cost right away when it enters. So you get the big cool effect of like, hey, I played this, I worked for it, I built up to this, and now I get to slam my giant commander. But now you also get to use it right away, so it's super appealing.
Yeah, it's got Vigilance, Trample, other keyword, right? There's only 2 keywords.
Reach?
Vigilance, Trample, Reach. It does, because that's 1 for each of the colors.
The heads.
Yes, 1 for each of the heads. So it's got 3 keywords. This card is completely awesome. It's a big, huge dinosaur. It's a 9/9. Like, besides anything, this is a 9/9 dinosaur. All the other effects are awesome. But what do we care about here? Huge, big dinosaur.
Yeah, the creature type kind of matters of how big can I imagine this thing being? A dinosaur I can imagine being huge.
Yes.
I also like that Zakama, in terms of Timmy cards, actually one of the stronger ones you can do because it can dominate the whole board by itself.
Yeah, it's very good. Actually, speaking of creature type mattering, the rest of the elder dinosaurs, besides the the black one. I can't even think of its name.
Tetsamok.
That card sucks. But besides those, the rest of the other dinosaurs are all Timmy cards. One is a 12/12 trampler that you can cast for 2 mana. You're playing cards at the top of their decks with a 6-drop. There's a 7-drop that protects itself and draws cards.
And then there's the 8-drop with double strike, and it's like, hey, put stuff onto me. Let's go.
Exactly. So literally, the other dinosaurs scream Timmy. Every single one of them except Tetsamok.
Timmy! Let's go to another big card that bolsters your other big cards and leads to really big plays. It's Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. Now, the cutting damage dealt to yourself in half is probably like flavor text on this when it comes to a Timmy's mindset. They're like, I get to deal double damage with everything. I can play her and then smack in with whatever I got. Super huge plays.
Yes. Also, Gisela's great. She's worded in the best way possible. All your damage is halved and all your opponents is doubled. So it doesn't even have to be your effect that's sealing it. If your opponent has a choice between attacking you with a 6/6 or another player with a 6/6, I think it chooses to do 12 to that player or 3 to you. They're going to do 12 to the other player. I can't imagine 3 to you is worth not dealing 12 to another player. That'd be weird.
Even if they tap like City of Brass, they just take 2.
Yeah, card is great. Yeah, Gisela's just such a great big Timmy card. It's another one we mentioned. I think creature types matter a lot. Angels, dinosaurs,
dragons.
Demons, dragons. In fact, we're going to go right into a dragon right now. It's Ramos, the Dragon Engine. Okay, this literally wants you to be casting 5 color spells to get counters on it, remove those counters, and get 10 mana.
That's going to fuel the next big spell you cast.
Exactly. You're just going to... all the spells in this list, like, if they're not helping you cast your big giant spell, they are big giant spells because that's what Timmy's are doing. So this is just absolutely going to be amazing. You cast a 5 thing, make 10 mana, cast another huge thing, put the counters back on, and then next turn you do it again.
Yes, Timmy's are well known for loving their X spells. They're going big. They're not playing X equals 2. They're playing X equals 7. They don't even really want to play anything for X equals 2, even if it's the right play. It's just more fun for them to hold it in, which is totally fine. And I will say, with these cards, these are a lot of just good, expensive cards, and the regular curve of, like, let's say a neutral player's deck with no player profile affiliation might have a couple of these at the top end, but the Timmies are maxing out the top end with as many of these as they can, like, realistically play.
Yeah, I mean, I have an extremely Timmy deck. My green red Stompy deck
Godzilla one.
It plays so many of these big top end cards.
5s and 6s and 7s. I am definitely not a Timmy player because I love my 2s and my 1s and my 3s, and I played like 7 cards in my deck that cost more than 4. But Jerry's has got the deck that's just like all 5s and 6s. It's just going to smack you.
Yep. Next is, it's an angel again. It's Avacyn, Angel of Hope, a big 8/8 flying vigilance creature, but your creatures are indestructible. This feels like just, oh my God, nothing can hurt me. I mean, that's not
It's not even close to true.
It's not true, but that's how it always feels. Like Avacyn is just everything's indestructible. My board can't be destroyed.
Right.
And it just feels like, it just feels so powerful. Like, it seems powerful. Now, it's just a medium effect because there's a lot of ways to remove it in Commander, but God, does it look so powerful.
I think it's about phrasing because you see the mana cost and the size, you're like, all right, this is a big creature. Like, it's going to be doing something crazy. And it's kind of, the way it's worded is very intentional. It's like a mic drop. It's like, my permanents are indestructible. Just reading it is like a Timmy read. Like, reading this card just makes you feel like, whoa, like, what the heck? So getting it out is awesome.
Yeah, it's super awesome card. What's next, BZ?
It's an 8-mana demon. It's Vilis, Broker of Blood. Another mic drop ability of, I lose life, I draw cards? What?
It's so much card draw. It's over the top, ludicrous amounts, and it's so easy to do. One, he's got an ability to let you do it.
Yeah.
But on top of that ability, there's a billion ways to pay life in this format. You pay 3 life, draw 3 cards. You can just end up with, like, a hand that literally just is like this thick. I've seen it before.
I feel like the Johnny line is, all right, I'm just going to play, reanimate Vilis and then activate his ability like 4 times. But the Timmy wants to play Vilis, untap, and then just play like Phyrexian Processor and draw 30 cards or something. They want to just do something else that's even bigger now that they have Vilis out.
It's all about the big, splashy plays. And speaking of big, splashy plays, Asika, God of the Tree. Well, that's not really that much of a Timmy character.
God of a tree. God of a tree. That sounds lame.
What? I can't help that she's the God of the Tree. But on the backside, we have the Prismatic Bridge, which now this is extremely Timmy. It's Wooburg for a legendary enchantment. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal from the top of your deck until you hit either a creature or a planeswalker, and you put it directly on the battlefield. In your Timmy decks, this is perfect. Guess what? There's tons of big creatures all over the place. Flip until you can hit. Oh, well, that's a big one. Next turn. Oh, well, that's a big one too.
One of the biggest, timmiest things I've seen come out recently, and this was mostly in Kaldheim, was the World Tree. And they can stuff your deck full of gods and then tap the World Tree, basically just throw all the creatures in your deck into play, and then all hell breaks out. Or play like Maskwood Nexus and then throw out every creature no matter what. And that is just like the timmiest, coolest thing to me. That's really neat.
Yeah, the World Tree, another just very Timmy card. I mean, it's just a good Magic card, honestly.
It fixes your mana.
It's super good for 3-4 color decks,
5 color decks, exactly.
Yeah, oh wait, it's really good for 5 color decks. That's right, it has to be in 5 colors. It's really, really good for 5 color decks. It doesn't even have to be Timmy, but that ability, now that is a Timmy ability. What do we have next, BZ?
Well, we've seen this cost come up twice now in the World Tree and Ramos, and it's Progenitus, the most mic drop ability that still isn't even that good, but it looks awesome, and I think this is one of the best arts for a creature of like mythos and legend. Like, this is Progenitus. This is the god of Alara. I love that it's the first art, especially. I hate the stupid Xbox whatever art. We have the good art up, and it's just the scariest, misty, like, this thing is huge. It is ridiculous, and literally nothing can stop it.
Yeah, Progenitus is a throwback, honestly, for me, because I've not seen this card played in a long time. I don't think players think it's very good, but it is so Timmy. It is 10 mana for a 10/10 with the greatest wording of all time. Protection from everything. You know how many arguments kitchen table players get in over this? I've been there. You're board wiping? Well, I have protection from board wipes.
Right.
Not how it works.
That's not what protection says. But
that's not what actual protection is, but how could I ever know that? How? It's so protection from everything. I understand what protection means nowadays.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like, they're casting a board. How could this destroy it? It has protection from that board wipe.
Yeah, the internet presence and the judge rulings weren't as prevalent in 2008 or 9 when this came out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so many arguments.
I mean, our friend your old roommate had a Progenitus deck. It was sweet.
Yeah,
it was all his favorite cards.
Yeah, it's literally all he did. He just threw in his favorite cards. Next is one of the last legends is Draco Seth, Maw of Flame. Well, this is it's a big, giant, stupid flying dragon.
It's unintelligent.
And when it attacks, it burns something for 4, it burns something for 3, and it burns something for 3. How can you add? I can't really think of inventing a splashier effect than this. It's so big and splashy.
Now hear me out. It's 8 mana dragon, 8/8, and then when it attacks, it deals 5, 4, and 4.
That sounds exactly the same.
Oh, exactly the same. We've reached the cap. Anything else is overkill. It's a really cool card. Not so much as a commander, but as a creature in general. It's a dragon. It checks a bunch of the boxes. You see 10 damage divided, basically. You see 7/7 on the stats, and you're just ready to go in.
Yeah. The next one is another just a group of 5 that kind of run together. One's not as Timmy as the rest.
Yes.
But 4 of them are the most Timmy thing you've ever seen. They're the Praetors. We have Alice Norn, who's giving things +2, -2. This card's just a strong Magic card, but it is such a Timmy card because it's an over-the-top effect. If you have 10 creatures, all of a sudden you've just increased your power by 20. That's insane. Card is absolutely bonkers. We got Vorinclex. Oh my god.
Double your mana. Need I say more? Half their mana as a bonus.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about that in a little bit, the doubling mana and stuff.
Ooh.
So we'll get to that in a minute. Shieldred, everybody sacrifices and you reanimate on their upkeeps. And then what's
Jingataxias, draw 7 cards on your end step. They lose 30 cards. Just cards flying everywhere. If they don't answer Jingataxias, game's over. But you're gonna feel great.
Yeah, and Urbrask is not so much. Not
as cool.
Yeah, he's good and he's strong, but he's just not a Timmy card, really. Moving on, we're finally out of Legends. Let's talk about some non-legendary cards. Well, it's another cycle, and it's the Ultimatum cycle. I think the newest ones really, really encapsulate it. The old ones, not as much. They're a little worse compared to these new ones, but the new ones, the Ikoria cycle of ultimatums, are completely bonkers and over-the-top insane effects.
They all represent Timmy, I will say, but the power creep has led the new ones to be like, I don't know, literally twice as good as the old ones. But back then, I remember that's like right when I first started playing, and I look at these cards and I go, what? +5/+5 trample? Like, oh my god, this mana cost is ridiculous. I know it's going to be powerful. I'm spending so much mana on it. And they all kind of read like that, especially Cruel Ultimatum. Everybody wanted to cast that card.
Yeah, Cruel Ultimatum, unfortunately, not working well for Commander, as it is a targeted thing.
Yikes.
Not something you want to be doing in Commander, but also oh my god, so many of the new ones. The Eerie Ultimatum, that return basically everything from your graveyard to play.
Genesis spins the wheel.
Genesis is a complete wheel spinner. You can draw 5. Yeah, draw 5, gain 5, deal 5.
Yeah, that's the Jeskai one.
That's the Jeskai one.
But the Genesis is they just slam the top 5 cards into play.
Yeah, which is, as a Timmy player, you know you're going to have a ton of big permanents in that deck.
I'm revoking you calling the Jeskai one a wheel spinning card. I meant spin the wheel. Let's see what I get off the Teamer one. But pay 7 mana to do anything. You're not spinning any wheels.
I didn't mean to imply it as that. By spin the wheel, I meant like spin like
roll the dice.
Roll the dice. Spin the wheel like the wheel of fortune. Yeah.
Yes, or the wheel of money.
Yes, or the wheel of money. What's next?
Avengers Indicator. I definitely have this as a Timmy card. It's a bajillion power. It's a bajillion permanence. It looks great. It on the board states you can see it. It's kind of one of those cards that just plays pretty much how it reads, which is I'm going to make 1,000 power worth of creatures, and this has won plenty of games, so it's definitely a Timmy card. Not for me personally. Timmy's out there love it.
Well, I think the main reason this card's overplayed is it's so good. It's one of the first Timmy cards everybody plays, and you can throw it in any deck when you first start. This is literally like if I have a green deck in Commander, Avengers Indicator can just go in it before I start really tuning up those decks. It's in any deck, and it'll be good when you're playing at lower power levels. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you start like ramping up and you're like, oh, I want to get synergies and work on that. If you're not playing like exactly tokens, maybe +1/+1 counters,
landfall.
If there's not exact synergies in there, it starts falling off as a card because you can do better at that 7 mana slot. Avenger though, chef's kiss, really good card.
Yes, it's almost like I don't care that I can do better at the 7 slot as a Timmy. I want to do cooler or bigger. It's almost like they're not looking for how much they can get out of 7 mana. They're looking for how cool and impactful and splashy of a play can they make for 7 mana.
Yeah, splashy is a great word for it. Next is Fist of the Suns in Joda. Well, it's mostly just Fist of the Suns. It says you can pay Wooburg for a spell. That means if it's a 100 mana spell, you can pay Wooburg for it, and then boom, you get it for just Wooburg. That's the whole thing here. All of your big giant spells now cost 5 mana. That 10 mana spell, 5 mana. Emrakul, 5 mana. Ulamog, 5 mana. Guess what? Kozilek, 5 mana.
Anywhere else, 5 mana.
You can probably pay less for that one, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how. Rishkar's expertise in Return of the Wild Speaker wants you to control a giant, ridiculous creature. We're going to do that. We're playing Timmy. We want to make sure all our creatures are big for this. And then when we do it, especially with Rishkar's expertise, you like draw 7 cards, look with starry eyes at your permanents like, oh my god, I can't wait, and then you get to slam one of them right now.
I mean, this is just over-the-top card draw. These are the kind of card draw spells where it's like the average like wheel spinny and normal deck doesn't really need to do this, but if you want big and you want splashy, oh, you get to just draw so many. These cards are great too. It's not like these cards are just like okay cards. They're just really strong card draw, effective in this format, and they're Timmy because of how big and impactful they really are.
Yeah, Rishkar's expertise will bury people, and Return of the Wild Speaker has multiple modes.
Yes. Next one, this one's interesting, and I really think it is a Timmy card. It's Timmy Removal. It's Casualties of War. It's 6 mana, destroy 1 of each permanent type. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to choose everyone, which is what makes this playable, but it's still it's over the top. You don't have to pay this much for your removal, but if you want a big, giant, impactful play, guess what? This is going to be it.
Especially in 1v1, I think this also translates into a historic brawl where, I mean, it's a good card there, but it's also like, man, I get to destroy 1 of everything. Like, how are they ever going to come back from this? You know, it reads a lot better than even if it just said, if it said it all in like a sentence or a sentence and a half, it wouldn't be as appealing, but it just says like destroy this, destroy this, destroy this, destroy this, destroy this. Like, whoa, let's go.
Yeah, it's worded. It's literally modes. It's really strange that it's worded that way. Next, Conflux.
Oh man, I hate this card.
Can you name a card that this might be other than maybe the next one, the most Timmy card? It's so Timmy.
This is we haven't mentioned this yet, but this is the epitome of just you wait until my next turn. And actually, we always joke about the just you wait things, but literally the flavor text of Timmy is just wait till I get out my Gigantosaurus.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the same thing. It's just wait till I find 5 cards for 6 mana and then play them next turn.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing here. We're just going to, you tutor up.
You don't need 5 things, but we want 5 things.
It's so funny. When you cast this, unless your hand was empty, you have to discard some cards. So it's like, it's so funny. This card is completely medium. It's okay, but it's like.
Completely medium? It's terrible. This card is terrible.
I don't know
if it's fun.
It's not terrible. There are ways to make it decent, but it is super funny that it's just like, oh my god, 8 mana, the tutor him. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be great when you untap. But what, you just spent the whole turn just looking through your deck?
Yeah, Conflux is huge. Next one I've found to actually just be like really good if your deck can support it. Apex Devastator offers everything Maelstrom Wander offers, is a 10/10, so it's even bigger, but it doubles your cascades. It's twice as many wheels, spins, the randomizes kind, and it's just the biggest, the Timmiest card almost in the entire format.
Yeah, this card's completely just a strong Magic card. I put it in more as like this is the biggest, splashiest giant thing I can do. I want to do it. Turns out it's just good. It turns out 4 cascades you can't miss. Most likely at least 2 are going to be good cards if your deck is built in such a way that it'll take advantage of Apex Devastator. I just love this card. I literally just love this card.
It's a good card. I mean, sometimes it doesn't even matter what you cascade into. You can't whiff because you have like a Savala or something in play.
Yeah, exactly. What's next?
What about for the Timmies looking to maybe get some spell slinging going on? Well, we got 1,000-Year Storm, and now the Johnnies might want to spell sling at a lower mana cost, but Timmies, why would I play 1 spell when I can play 1,000 of it and just go absolutely ham?
This is kind of a representation spell.
Yeah.
There's so many of the 6 and up mana cost enchantments that just pay off storming off. There's like some that say draw a card or whenever you cast it, copy it. But this one is the biggest, the best, the Timmiest of all of them. For each spell you've cast this turn, you're going to be copying it? Woo! I want to end in like a 7 mana spell, copy it 7 times. Oh, it's so awesome. It's so cool.
Just remember this now, but one of the YouTube other Commander channels I watched, shout outs to Commander's Brew, they built a deck. It was 4 color, and literally the goal of the deck was to play 1,000-Year Storm and then chain spells to copy Casualties of War. Now, if that's not the Timmiest, awesomest thing, where you just look at that and you're like, oh, God.
Both of those are on this list.
That's what made me think of it.
Literally independent. Like, I've never seen that video that you're referencing. They were both just on this list independent because I went through and put most of these on.
Joe
here.
put these on, yeah, because he's the Timmy player.
Yeah, so they just happened to both be super Timmy cards. So Commander's been building quite the Timmy deck.
Yeah, that was a while ago now, but that deck was sweet.
This next one, I'm going to group with a few other ones on here. This is big mana ramp. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is you're at 5 and greater mana ramp spells.
Like ludicrous.
Ludicrous over-the-top ramp spells. We have Nyxbloom Ancient as the king of this.
The king.
One of the absolute kings, because there's also one other king that I'll mention in a second. Nyxbloom Ancient is just insane. It triples your mana. You're going to have the most mana when you untap. The thing that's really cool about this card is you only have to get your mana back, you need to have 3 lands untapped after he's done.
Well, you need 4, right?
You only need...
Because he adds 2.
Oh, you need 4. So, so to get your full mana back, you need 4 untapped of them. That's not that crazy.
No.
In a big, giant, splashy deck like this. Some of the other ones I want to mention here, there's Traverse the Outlands, which you get lands equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Absolutely just a ridiculous Timmy card. It's over the top. It's splashy. And I think this, if the Granddaddy isn't Nyxbloom Ancient, then it is Chromatic Orrery. That is the most over-the-top ramp spell. You're ramping at 7. You're drawing a ton of extra cards. It's just a very silly card, and it's over the top.
Ramp at 7. That statement alone is almost like an oxymoron. You have to ramp into it to get it at a reasonable time.
I'm ramping into my ramp spells.
Right, and then I'm going to ramp into like, you won't even know what I'm ramping into because it won't even register on your brain.
Well,
it's going to be too big. I think one thing with Nyxbloom Ancient that is so appealing is copying it, because you can copy the rest and it's good. Sometimes they don't work that well, but Nyxbloom Ancient is like, well, if you have 1, your land taps for 3. But if you have 2, taps for 9. And if you have 3, you're making hundreds of mana.
I mean, if you have, I mean, I don't want.
Hundreds.
I was gonna do math, but I don't wait. But actually, perfect like segue here, segueing from Nyxbloom Ancient into X spells. We're gonna do all this giant ramping to infinity and just keep going so we can cast
and beyond
and just we're gonna go to the moon. X spells are the perfect Timmy cards. There are some that aren't perfectly Timmy, but almost all X spells are Timmy because you can cast them for so much. The play can be so impactful in the game. My favorite one, for me, just X spell is Genesis Wave. Mm-hmm. You cast it for X equals 30 as much as you can. You're Timmying it up. So, and then you just flip all your cards onto the battlefield. Maybe there's 2 instances in there, but you just have all this stompy stuff. Maybe a Haste Enabler, and you'll win the game.
Or Villainous Wealth is another one that comes up a lot of the time. It's like, I'm gonna just steal your deck. I just made 50 mana. I'm gonna steal your entire deck. It's so awesome because you get to try to outdo yourself every time, and the outcome of some of these isn't known. So it just makes every play unique and splashy and super fun for the person casting the spell.
Yeah. Next is Terror of the Peaks. Another one that's this is just a good magic card.
It's
It's just a good magic card. Now, it's a 5/4 flyer that has the Warstorm Surge text. When the creature enters, deal damage equal to its power to any target. That's just a good card, period.
The Warstorm Surge isn't a dragon.
But it isn't a 5/5 Dragon Warstorm Surge. This card is so amazing. And guess what? We're in the Timmy decks. We're playing the Timmy cards. All of our creatures have 7, 8, 9, 10 power. This thing is going to deal 30 damage over the course of a game if it's left alone for 2 or 3 turns.
Some of the Timmy cards aren't necessarily like the biggest. They don't all have to be 10 mana. We're looking at this in like Fist of the Suns that you read it and you go, well, what makes this good? Oh, playing giant fatties. Let's go.
Absolutely. Like, just throw all the fatties down afterward. You just go, this is how you're going to cover out. You're going to play ramp on turn 2, 3, and then you're just going to, turn 1, 2, 3, you're going to ramp, and you just go, okay, play this dragon, play this 6-drop, play this 7-drop, it's 6 power, it's 7 power, it's 8 power, and you literally just deal a ton of damage. You kill all the biggest threats. I mean, obviously, this is Magical Christmas Land, but we
live there.
I am a Timmy. I live in Magical Christmas Land all the time.
You set up shop there.
I set up shop.
The next one, Progenitor Mimic. You know, you have your regular ramp and your regular card draw and a regular clone. You know, what are the efficient clones? What are the most optimal clones? Oh, Phyrexian Metamorph, Glasspool Mimic. You know, Clever Impersonator. It's like no. Progenitor Mimic. I want more clones. I want every turn a clone, please.
Yes, like you get a clone to start on its face.
Right.
And then you add on top of that, every single turn we got a brand new one of that clone. I love this card. Like, this is a card that it took me forever to not play because I just loved it so much. Like, It was in my Maelstrom Wander deck for far too long. I mean, the card's very medium. It's very just meh, but it's over the top, big splashy effect. Just, I love it so much.
You ask Timmy, how many clones do you need? And Timmy just says, more.
More. I want how many times do you need to copy my creature?
More than I already have.
Well, much more.
Yes,
much
I'm
more.
not even close.
Yeah. What's next?
Next is Nicol Bolas. Doesn't matter. Any form of Nicol Bolas is Timmy because they all require 1 million mana to get going, and they're all pretty, with the exception of the original Planeswalker, pretty effective. So it's pretty satisfying to actually get the bonus out of it. Nicol Bolas is one of the biggest, most well-known, dangerous characters, so it feels good to like enact sort of his will on the game. Sweet cards.
Yeah, the biggest, baddest one is Nicol Bolas Godpharaoh. That's the best one in Commander.
Probably one of the least Timmiest ones too, because it just kind of like exiles their hand.
Well, to be fair, you can, even if you're playing it like that, that is one of its most powerful effects. But it's a big splashy effect in the game.
Timmy's might plus.
And there's also there's his other plus. He has 2 pluses. He can plus to either exile cards in the hand or plus to cast a spell for their deck, and you can just aim for. If you're playing with all Timmies, that effect's going to be really strong.
But still, not as good as just mind rotting them. Turns out that card's actually pretty lame.
Yeah, I mean, the card's very
big, splashy, but like good because it just wrecks your hand.
Yeah, very strong. What's next? Well, Joe, I'll tell you what's next. It's Grave Titan.
Have we talked about that before?
This is, a couple of times, actually. This is actually a Timmy card, legitimately. It's big and splashy. The effect isn't like the best or the greatest, but it's a 10 power for 6 mana. Mm-hmm. Every time it attacks, you get 4 more power. You're getting zombies. You're getting bodies. It's hard to block. It's a 6/6 Death Toucher. I mean, what are they going to do? Double block with 2 4/4s? That's not going to work. They're both going to die.
Right. I mean, these are the kind of things we think about when a 6/6 with Death Touch matters. I get that it looks great. The art is awesome. It definitely adds to the appeal of the card, of just the flavors. Like guts are zombies, and they're spilling out of it, and then they're attacking your opponent. Really, really cool. Big. I would argue too big for the effect, but it gets the job done for the Timmies. Scratches that itch.
I am really curious, like honestly, if this card goes from being like we don't want to ever really touch it to like playable in zombie trouble. Like, if it's a zombie, it's such a different.
It's such a different card. It's hard to even say. I'd have to see.
It literally would be so much better. Like, your Rat Hulk now gets it back. That's an actual strong effect. You know, you can cast a Rooftop Storm now. It's like, just all of those 2 alone are enough of a reason to want to play it compared to being
gets boosted.
A giant. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not, so that's not the world we live in.
Yeah. Humiliating that it's not a zombie.
Yeah. Next is Recurring Insight.
Recurring
Insight. Right. So, okay. We know Johnnies love to draw 1, 2 cards at a time, spin their wheels, draw
Mishra's Bubble, please.
Mishra's Bubble, Urza's Bubble. Recurring Insight says, no. We're drawing 10 cards now, and 10 cards later.
Yes.
And usually it's more like 6 or 7, but you draw 6 cards now, 6 cards later. It's literally draw 12 cards for 6 mana. It's over the top ridiculous. Now, it costs you your whole turn, essentially, and you do have to... It only can scale with the player's biggest hand. Sometimes you're stuck to like, oh no, everyone's got 3 cards in hand. Well, this card sucks.
And it targets, so that there's even extra possibilities for a blowout. But tension
yes.
sometimes is what makes the big plays so awesome.
You're like, there's not many cards that are going to blow it out, but a real card that can blow it out is Veil of Summer. That card just is real. That's a real card in this format that can blow you out.
That's definitely true, but it's so satisfying to do. It Spike's over here like, you can just draw half your deck for 5 mana, right? And you're like, I don't care.
You can just draw half your deck for 3 mana. It's called Necropotence.
Yeah, they're like,
ever heard of it?
You only need to draw like 5 cards before you win anyway. What do you care about drawing 12? We're not worried about it.
All right.
Just give me 12 cards. We'll talk about it later.
A card we talked about in our big splashy video, actually. Fire Emancipation is up next. It's 6 mana, triple your damage output. That's plain and simple. Doubling damage output, well, that would be pretty Timmy as this.
This is mic drop text. Like, that's never been on a card before.
We literally talked about Gisela earlier. That's double in damage output. We're done. We're done with double. Triple that damage. I want my lightning bolt to deal 9 to their face.
I need it to deal 9. I can't go on if it doesn't deal 9.
But I'm not playing lightning bolt, but I'm playing fireball. So I need my fireball X equals 10 to deal 20, 30 to their face. Boom. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Triple. Oh, baby. Fire Emancipation. The Helm of the Host is next. It's an equipment. This is the Timmy equipment because how many commanders do you need? The answer is more commanders. So I'm going to populate the token after I make it. I'm going to go absolutely wide with my commander. That alone just sounds hilarious. Like, I'm going to beat you to death with an army of my commander. It just sounds so silly. It's so much fun to pull off. And there's a lot of wacky things you can do when you double up commanders.
Is Stang's Twin legendary?
Stang's Twin, I'm pretty sure, is legendary.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Stang is the memeiest goofy card, and he has the text on him to just never make anything work. There's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, it's Stang.
He will always disappoint you.
Yeah, that's like, if I'm imagining, who's the friend of wolves?
Tolsimir?
Tolsimir, friend of wolves. You copy him, but you keep the copy, but then his new wolf comes out, and the wolf dies because it's legendary.
I think is not Vona. Vbop.
Vbop. Yeah, Vbop comes out and just dies because there's another Vbop out.
Yeah, you can't have more than one Vbop.
Yeah, same thing with Drist. It'd be the same exact way. You can't have more than one Mjolnir. Yep, it's Mjolnir. Meeper.
Gwenvoir, I think it is.
No, it's Meeper.
Meeper? All right.
Yeah, Meeper.
This one, my brain doesn't work in a way that would ever let me include this card in a deck. It's Vara Hellkite. It's an 8 mana 6/6. Whenever you attack with a dragon, you get another dragon. It's just dragons on dragons on dragons. And it's just wait until I untap and then attack you. And then untap with those dragons and attack you again. You're going to be so dead. I get the appeal, but I can't. It's almost like how you couldn't. Some people would have claimed to not be able to jump off a cliff or whatever. Like, they're standing there, they could never jump off, and I'm just like, I can't. If I went to put this in a sleeve for my deck, it would just miss every time. My brain wouldn't let me do it.
I mean, this card isn't bad. It's over the top, completely crazy. The problem with dragons mostly is that they cost a lot of mana. Your best dragons really start being playable at 4 mana. That's the lowest mana cost you get for a good playable dragon.
If you're making enough dragons with Udvara Hellkite the first turn, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of dragons. I feel like they should just be dead. How many dragons are you attacking with and not winning?
Yeah, they're like, I attack with 5 dragons, get 5 dragons.
What are the 5 dragons? Are they all getting chump blocked? What's going on over there?
And then next turn and then we attack with our 10 dragons, get 10 more dragons.
It's so silly.
Oh, we're gonna win.
It's funny to just even say. It just sounds like such a crazy play.
There's so many dragons. They build up. They do really build up fast. This can't go unanswered for 2 turns. It's insane.
No, you have to answer it. This is another storm payoff, but it's more for the Timmies. You mill yourself. You play your spells out normally. You get everything done. You get your pins in order, and then you're going to be casting Overloaded Mizzix's Mastery and knocking them all down, and the game is absolutely over, especially if you already have 1,000-Year Storm in play.
Yeah, this card actually ends games. It really ends games. You exile everything from your graveyard, and all you have to do to make this card work is play your deck. You play the game, you cast all your spells, you cast 10, 20, 30 spells potentially throughout the game.
Mill some.
And you mill some. All of a sudden, Mystics Mastery, I win if this resolves.
I have Gutter Snipe in play. You take 50.
You're just dead. You're dead to everything. There's a million different ways. One of the last spell I'm going to resolve from my graveyard, well, guess what? It's Gut Shot.
Mind's Desire.
You're dead. It's just Mind's Desire. It's Gut Shot. Gut Shot's going to kill everybody.
Grape Shot?
Grape
Gut
Shot.
Shot's going to kill nobody.
Gut Shot's going to kill nobody. Grape Shot, though, is going to kill everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Super funny to make that work. It's a really good card, too. Sublime Epiphany.
Timmy
we're
counterspell.
Scaling everything up. We know what Timmy Arcane Signet looks like. It's Chromatic Orrery. We know what Timmy Clone is. It's Progenitor Mimic. Here's the Timmy counterspell. We're going to counterspell and copy something and draw a card, and this thing triggered, counter that too.
Yes. This thing is super, super silly. Basically, they have a Gutter Snipe out. They cast their spell. They go, okay, everyone's going to take 2. No. I'll counter that trigger, and I'll counter the spell, and I'll copy my creature.
Bounce that over there.
And I'll bounce that, and I'll copy my other thing.
Draw a card.
And I'll draw a card. That's the one I forgot.
Right.
It does 15 different things, not literally, but it does a lot of different things, and it is just the most over the top.
It's like overkill.
Overkill for a counterspell. It's like, you have to leave up 6 mana for your counterspell?
Most of the time, counterspell will do just fine.
Yeah, it'll do almost as good.
But it won't be nearly as fun. It'll just be like, counterspell. I didn't really get any joy out of that.
And what is the very last one here that we got?
The very last one is Mind's Dilation. 7 mana enchantment. I'm investing. It doesn't even seem that cool, but once you play with it, you get to steal all their stuff, assuming they don't answer it. Just wait till I untap with this, because I'm going to have 5 or 6 things off of it. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, Mind's Dilation it's actually just dang strong. When it gets answered, it's not
Timmy Ristic Study.
This is Timmy Ristic.
We did it.
Whenever a player casts any spell, their first one of the turn, you flip their top card and you get it. I love that you can get counter spells off this. I love if they cast a spell, they go to destroy this, and they flip a counter spell at the top, you counter it with that counter spell.
That's satisfying.
It's very satisfying. I've done it a couple times.
This card's really, really cool. It doesn't get there on the power level, but literally, who cares? We're not here to talk about that.
I think this card is fairly powerful. I think it does suffer from being 7 mana.
The opportunity cost is what kills you.
It is. It's an absolute. The opportunity cost is really high for this card. It definitely belongs in some decks, but it's really tough to protect it after getting it out.
Maybe it's like you start with Ristic Study, and then you swing all the way over here to Timmy, and you got Mind's Dilation, and then you swing all the way over here, and you got like Mystic Remora to the spike side.
All right. Well, that is our video. Special shout-outs to all of our patrons. Love you as much as you can without making you uncomfortable, unless we make you uncomfortable by saying guns make us uncomfortable.
But we're not going to get into that again, because we have other tidbits for you.
We have a new tidbit today.
There's a TCG player link in the affiliate. It's an affiliate link in the description below for you, specially cultivated for you. The one person that I'm pointing to right now, you can go buy cards through the link, and then when you check out, you support the nerds in addition to just paying normal price for Magic cards.
Yes, if you want the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
Dragon Shield has a web shop, EU, US. Go there, buy the sleeves, literally the best sleeves you can buy. Get custom sleeves. Get them. If I had to suggest one of them, Matt Duel, literally amazing sleeves. They also have deck boxes, really nice deck boxes, and I haven't used their playmat yet. But I will get back to you once I actually use their playmats and let you know what I think of those.
In my head, I'm thinking, how much different could it be? It's probably good.
Yeah, they're most likely great.
Oh, guys, they're made of soggy cardboard.
But it's
don't use the playmats.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't want to. My thing is,
we're gonna wait.
My thing is, I don't want to give a review of a product I've not used yet.
That would be stupid.
I do it. We have their deck boxes. I love their deck boxes. They're like magnetic and they come. Oh, they're super nice.
Yeah, I just tried the one out where you put 10 decks in it or 5 decks in a playmat. I forget what it's called, but. It's heavy, it's bulky, but it still fit in my backpack, and I'm like, let's go. I got every deck I could ever play.
Yeah, and I'm going to be using the other one for going.
The
5. Yeah, I held 5 decks. They're really nice. They are super nice and effective deck boxes.
So do we have a tidbit about our lives at the end?
So I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the channel before, but we've been doing it for a little bit now. We do once every 2 months or monthly. We try, I would like to do a monthly, but we've been doing them 2 months right now. We do what we call draft-a-thon. We take a Saturday, everyone meets at our house at 12, and we draft 3 times in a row. This time we're doing Zendikar Rising, Return to Ravnica, Modern Horizons 1 as our draft set. Going to be super duper fun. Really excited. I mean, I enjoy drafting. That's all there is to it.
We get 8 people together, so 6 other people and us, and we're going to all commit to the whole day. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to draft Magic sets. Usually the first one is hey, we meet up at noon. And then we're doing a shot per pack.
Oh, we're wasted by 2:00. were gone.
Because then you sober up by the end of the day and you just go home.
Yeah, that's the other one stunk. Like last one, it didn't stink.
It stunk.
It didn't stink. But I was not feeling well the day before, and I drank like in the morning, like well, not in the morning, in the afternoon. Yeah, it was like
Still
1
early.
o'clock. I had like 3 or 4 shots, and I'm like, I can't. I literally felt like I was going to throw up the whole day.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was not a great day for me.
No, but it's so much fun to play Throwback and just like lay down some money for the older draft sets. They're really interesting. I want to get together and just do some like crazy one. Our friend Eric was like, "What about Innistrad?" I'm like, "Yeah, what about Innistrad?" And everyone
It's a
was
lot
like,
of money.
"Whoa, it'd be like $100 a person or something
It's just so much. And
for 3 packs, and then whatever your pack per win."
the issue, one of the issues with drafting that is the EV is not good.
The EV's trash.
It's awful, but the set was so revered and loved that
It's one of like
the
everyone's
box.
top 5 draft environments.
Exactly, and because of that, you just can't get a box for cheap, and it's so much. What are you gonna? You can only open like a Lily, and then you're just
Snapcaster,
is that it?
probably. There's really not much.
I'm sure there's 1 or 2 other decent cards,
A
but
couple old mythics, but
it's not a lot.
No.
But so Innistrad, I
something big. Our other friend Daniel was talking about like let's do an Eventide Lorwyn draft or something like that. I'm like,
Lorwyn's so expensive. Those boxes are absurd.
I did open exactly 1 booster pack of Lorwyn. It was like I think it was some kind of like package of like 3 booster packs, and I opened it to Johnny, and I was like so excited. I was so excited.
What's the oldest pack you've opened?
The oldest pack I've opened? Oh no, I have no idea. It might be just when I started playing Shards of Alara. I opened a couple of those boosters.
I was Future Sight. I remember.
I've opened Future Sight packs. I think maybe 1.
I got a couple of Future Sight packs from a GP we did. That's where I got them.
Yeah.
From.
Okay. We've gone back a little bit. We gotta start opening those Homelands packs.
Yeah. Well, it's
Alpha packs.
It's whatever one has Ibhart Goblin Tactician. Maybe that's
Time Spiral.
Time Spiral, the original Time Spiral. I guess that's as old as I go. It's not Future Sight though.
Yeah, that might be a year earlier.
Yeah, whatever. About the same time. But that is our video. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.